Ever since Disney bought Star Wars and put Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Lucasfilm, fans are on the constant lookout for the recanonization of their favorite legends, characters, and stories. Inevitably, whenever the subject arises, one name stands out above the rest.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Okay, maybe two names.
I am Revan!
Alright, so there's a few names. Galen Marek, or perhaps better known as Starkiller. Sam Witwer's debut into the world of Star Wars is one of the most common names to come up whenever this subject arises. Love him or hate him, Starkiller is a character about whom fans are incredibly passionate and vocal. And I'm here today to prove that Lucasfilm has been teasing the all but confirmed return of Starkiller. The most conclusive evidence seems to come to us from the most recent episode of Kenobi, so by the way, minor spoilers for Kenobi Part 5, but in Kenobi Part 5, the first thing that I want to talk about, giving people a little bit of time to click away. Okay, so Kenobi finds these lightsabers on Jabeam, and the one on the far right, or second from the far right, bears an uncanny resemblance to the incredibly unique lightsaber design of Starkiller, particularly when noting the curved emitter shroud and the exposed sections. Now, while Starkiller's lightsaber is obviously much more exposed than this, particularly even the fact that it shows the kyber crystal unprotected in the lightsaber hilt, this does seem to be some sort of nod to Starkiller's lightsaber. Furthermore, later in the episode, Vader rips the ship out of the air and pulls it to the ground, which is, of course, a huge callback to Starkiller's signature move, ripping Star Destroyers out of orbit. Now, I really liked, personally, that they were taking this incredible ability to command the Force and giving it to Vader, because I always believed that Vader should have been stronger than Starkiller, but that's not really the point that I'm trying to make. That is little more than a nod to Starkiller, but all of these pieces together do tend to mean something when there are this many nods and this many references all at once. We've seen this time and time again from Star Wars, going back to before they reintroduced Grand Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, to when they brought back Boba Fett for The Mandalorian. These little teases are a ubiquitous part of how Lucasfilm sets up the return of Legends characters, or even characters that were previously thought to be dead in the case of Boba Fett. Now, of course, the major question would be, if Starkiller is back and this is his lightsaber, why is he behaving as a Jedi on the run, going through the Jedi path on Jabeam when, you know, he's supposed to be Vader's secret apprentice? Well, there are two basic options, and the first one would be that the Starkiller storyline would have already concluded by this point, this being 9 BBY, 9 years before the Battle of Yavin, about halfway between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. That is a definite possibility that this very well could be after Starkiller's story, at least if they didn't change it dramatically, what we interpret as his story, knowing the Force Unleashed storyline. But, you know, the part of Starkiller being Vader's secret apprentice or an Inquisitor or something of the like would already be done, and he went on the run, surviving his encounter with Vader or his breakaway, and is now fleeing from the Empire. Of course, the other option, which I think is actually a little bit more likely, is that this is basically the equivalent of the Infinity Gauntlet showing up in Thor. Yes, that did signify that Thanos and the Infinity Stone storyline was coming, but that wasn't actually the Infinity Gauntlet in Odin's treasure room. It was just a, hey, stay tuned, this is what's coming, you know, kind of thing. Draw your attention to this is what's gonna happen, but at the same time, it will break the lore to say that this is the actual Infinity Gauntlet sitting in Odin's treasure room.
Fake.
Yeah, so I think it's incredibly likely that that's what this is here, just a nod to call our attention to the return of Starkiller, but not necessarily to say that he actually went through the Jedi path through Jabeam, but that they're just reminding us that Starkiller exists, and they are pointing us in that direction. A lot of fans have already begun to speculate that actually the character in the Bacta tank from the Jedi Survivor storyline, the titular character of that game, is actually Starkiller, or or one of his clones. And if, in fact, that is one of his clones, that would actually seem to back up the idea that that storyline, that the original Starkiller storyline, took place before the events of Kenobi, since Kenobi and Jedi Survivor both take place during 9 BBY. They are contemporary stories, meaning that if there are already clones of Starkiller that Cal Kestis is seeking out and locating, that would seem to justify the fact that Starkiller already broke away from Vader and is on the run, and his lightsaber ended up here in the pile. But anyway, guys, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this indicates the return of Starkiller? I kind of think it does, but right now it's just kind of bits and pieces of evidence, and I really want to know what you, my friends, have to say about our favorite galaxy far, far away. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, or if you learned absolutely nothing new, you can feel free to leave a thumbs down completely guilt-free, because that tells me I'm not doing my job. Thanks again for watching, and as always, may the lore be with you, now and forever.